That's
Welcome. This is John from Nine the Gallery here with Matthew Goodall, artist extraordinaire, here to talk about his most recent series that we released, his study series. Just a couple questions for you, Matthew. Want to kind of understand your process, understand why this collection is so special. So I'm going to fire away for a few of them just to get started. So what role do you think these studies play in kind of your bigger work? Like, how are these stepping stones to making some of your more like dominant pieces?
You know, in my case, there's always a search, or I'm looking for things that I want to draw, and I think more than anything, right off the bat, everything starts off as it's practice. I'm trying to get better and build a muscle memory, as well as just kind of work on my craft in one thing. And a lot of those studies and where I started with them is I found something that I found interesting face, interesting pose, whatever, and then I drew it, painted it, and then from there I was like, okay, well, what can we do with it next? And then I might look for another similar image, or I might build off that same image and add something to it. Like with the Space Girl series, I'm pretty sure I did multiple studies for each big one before I did that final big painting. And some were more successful than others. I think I still might have a few lying around here somewhere, even in one of my drawers. But I think that's the big thing, is I find anything that I can kind of practice on. I think a big thing is their practice, but they're also tests to see what I can do, and then what I can find as I'm, drawing that image. So
I think it's a really big strength, to be honest. I think the ability to have that mentality. I mean, you said a really important thing about muscle memory. I think as an artist and artists that are listening, perhaps that building that muscle memory is super important, because doing it over and over again is how you do it. That's how you craft it. That's how you get really good at it. And there's no way around it. You can't. There's no way you can train yourself. You have to do it that way. And it's just. I just love hearing it. I think it lends a lot to your discipline as an artist, and really how serious you take it.
I kind of took a break because things weren't going the way I wanted, so I was like, I'll find something else to do. And it was one of the biggest mistakes in my life. I mean, I've made many, but I would say in that one, it put me way behind. So I think that's where a lot of my dedication is to it now. Is I work daily. I have like a little mini schedule for myself. It's nothing too serious. It's very flexible. It's just whenever I have time to do it. But if it's late at night, or if it's a break at work or something like that, it's like I have I'm painting or I'm drawing. The days off of work, I'm doing those are my drawing days. So those are the days, because drawing takes the longest. Watercolor paint really is a couple hours and I'm done. I'm pretty efficient with what I like to do and the results that I get. So if I'm working longer than that, I probably messed it up. So I overworked it.
You're like trying to fix it. I know that only too well.
Yeah.
So I know previously, you did a lot more experimentation with paper, and you've kind of settled into kind of what you like now. Does that mean the frequency of the studies are less frequent or more frequent, or how frequent did these get made?
It's yes and no on that one. Lately, I would say recently they've been less, because I've gotten a few more commissions here and there. So I've had my busy work. And my studies have turned into, say that the new series I'm working on, where it's the multiple perspectives. So, the fun story on that is I was just kind of randomly looking at one of the websites that I use, that I'm a part of, where they have multiple different like say 360 views of the models, and I just was finding all this work, and someone was just like, man, that just reminds me of like when I would go to figure drawing class and I'd be late and I'd be behind the riser, so I'd get like the worst possible seat ever. So it's like all butt pictures, you know. So so I thought that was fun. So I started sketching those out of nostalgia. But then I started, because I've seen like Jenny Saville and some other, you know, definitely prominent artists. They've done interesting different compositions where they'll use the same image, or they'll multiply it, or they'll it's like they're sketching over, but it's a finished work. It's not a sketch. And so what I started doing is I'll finish my sketch. I'll save it, or I'll take a photo of it, or I'll scan it into the computer, and then I'll do another view of it, and I'll do another view of it. And then when I have enough that I like, that are good enough, then I'll go back into the computer, and I'll clean them up, and I'll start laying them over each other to see what happens compositionally with, you know, having like, you know, all these multiple limbs and body parts overlapping.
Yeah.
And I'll erase what I don't want to emphasize. I might exaggerate what I want to emphasize. Find spots I can create some negative space with, things like that. And then I print it out and I make it nice onto a paper, you know, and then I will, you know, do that piece. And I just think it's, you know, speaking a lot of like, say, the duality of like, you know, what I listen to and versus what I work with. I think it's a perfect mix of that as well, because it is kind of just like you're mixing those multiple perspectives in. So it's different perspectives that you're seeing visually, as well as people are going to take it through multiple perspectives as well.
Right.
I personally find them as more anatomical works, which is, I think, with a lot of my figure drawings, is like I'm looking more for motion and shape and form and the planes, because I think those will create interesting ways to convey color.
To be honest, I don't want to take any more of your time. I really appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much, Matthew. It's an honor to have your work. It's really something special. And again, this the rest of the series is still available at ninethegallery.com. Come on by and you'll see it right on the front of the website. So again, Matthew, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. You know, enjoy some quarantine fun, and I hope to see you soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
You got it, my friend. Take care. Bye.